Hi everyone, my name's Hillary Taylor. I am the director of the Language Learning Center and the Language Other Than English Requirement Advisor, commonly known as the Loter. And my office is in the basement of Kellogg Library in 1107, the Language Learning Center.
Hi.
Hi. I should introduce myself. I'm Hillary Taylor, the Language Learning Center Director and the advisor on the Language Other Than English requirement. And I think you had some questions for me about that requirement.
Yes, what is Loter, the Loter?
So the Loter is the Language Other Than English requirement. You need to meet that in order to graduate, no matter what your major is. And we really believe in this. What I love about it is it really raises the quality of graduates from Cal State San Marcos for the job market and for grad school.
So how can I meet that requirements?
We also know that it can be hard to meet all the requirements needed for graduation, and so there are 7 ways to meet it. Everyone has their own way of meeting it, and we hope that all of them are very simple, straightforward, and enhance your life, actually.
So what are some most common ways to meet the Loter?
The 2 most common ways are to take a 3rd semester class here at San Marcos in a foreign language, or to the other common way is to take a proficiency exam in any language in the world.
What is a proficiency exam?
Yes, good question. So the proficiency exam shows that you have the spoken and written skills of someone who would have taken 3 semesters of that language. For example, a student growing up speaking Spanish, they are welcome to come in and take a test where they write and speak, and all they're showing is that because they're lucky enough to be bilingual and biliterate, that they can do those skills without having to take a class. So doing the proficiency exam is sort of the quick, simple way to meet the language requirement if you're already speaking a language.
Okay, and I'm pretty sure one of my friends mentioned a placement test.
Yes, so
Is that towards Loter?
we have the placement test in Spanish, which students who have not taken Spanish for over 2 years like to use to place directly into a higher level Spanish class instead of starting over as they would have to. So those folks come in and they get placed into 102 or 201. And if they're placed into 201, that's the only class they have to take for the Loter. Or they meet the Loter if they're placed into 202. That's pretty unusual though, because the placement test is like a final exam. So most students take the proficiency test.
Okay. And is it for every foreign language? I mean the placement test.
The placement test is only in Spanish.
So if I took French or German, I cannot take this test.
Right, so if you took a different language, you cannot take the placement test.
Oh, okay. So who can I talk to about this whole Loter?
I am always
requirements?
around. I am in the basement of the library in the dungeon in the Language Learning Center, and you can find me on email or phone. And my goal is that everyone does the most simple and quickest way to meet the Loter in a way that appeals to them also.
Okay, so when should I start thinking about these requirements? Like I'm so busy with my schedule in the first year, so when is a good time to start thinking about Loter and ask somebody and make plans and schedule this test?
Please think about the Loter as soon as possible. You may not need to do any action at the moment, but at least you'll have a plan so you won't be caught by surprise.
So you're saying that I should start my first year?
Some students start the spring of their first year. Some few students start the fall of their first year, and a lot of students do it in their sophomore year.
Okay, so it's the most common time is the sophomore year.
The most common time to take a foreign language class for the Loter is the sophomore year.
Okay, so how much does it cost to take a proficiency or a placement test?
The cost for the test is $91, and I always want to make sure that people know we're not making a profit. We pay the evaluators to do the exam evaluation.
Okay. So how can I prepare better for the exam? I want to do my best performance on this test or exam, so what should I do?
The best thing to do is to speak and write as much as possible. So if you are wanting to test in a language we teach at Cal State San Marcos or in American Sign Language, you can come and get tutoring. You can study on your own, come with questions, do review. If there's a language that we don't have the luxury of tutoring here, speak and write with your friends and family. Have them speak to you only in the language. Write emails to your friends. Journal and have your family members look it over.
Okay. So what kind of language skills will I be tested for? Reading, listening, writing, speaking, or all of them?
For the proficiency test, you will be asked to speak and write in the foreign language. For the placement test, it's more like a final exam. You're only writing, and it's more like verb banks, vocabulary, making sure you have the basic grammar of that level. There will be no reading, and there will be no listening.
So just writing, grammar, and speaking?
Speaking for the proficiency test.
Okay. So if I pass the test, the proficiency test, does it count towards my Loter requirements?
So the proficiency test is one of the 7 ways to meet the Loter. There aren't any units or credits given for that or the placement test.
Okay, no credits.
It's just the way of meeting the requirement for graduation on your ARR, but it won't give any units or a grade.
Okay, so let's talk about some specific situations. Let's say I took some 2 years of Spanish at high school. So what classes do I need to take at CSUSM?
2 years of Spanish or French or German or any other language is really common for our incoming freshmen. So that basically counts as Spanish 1, Spanish 2, and our language requirement would then just be Spanish 3. So most students who did strong and well in high school just sign up for Spanish 201, our 3rd semester class, meet the Loter in 1 semester, meet their area C3, and move on.
Okay. And let's say I understand and speak another language because my parents are immigrants, or I don't know, maybe I traveled abroad and picked the language. So, but I cannot write and read fluently in this language. So what should I do?
First of all, you should be really happy because that's amazing. The second thing is there's a class here called Spanish for Heritage Speakers. There's no prerequisite. It's for the folks who are lucky enough to be bilingual but not yet biliterate, meaning the class is held all in Spanish. They go through all the grammar and they learn the written grammar that academic Spanish would have if a person who doesn't know anything, such as myself, took 3 semesters. What I particularly like about that class and why I think it's so important is your resume can say Certified College Level Intermediate Academic Spanish, which is very different than I can speak Spanish when you're looking at 2 equal resumes.
All right, and let's say I took some Spanish or any other foreign language in high school, but I graduated more than 5 years ago. So what should I do in this case?
That does happen to our transfers and also some of our incoming freshmen who took foreign language at a very young grade level. Cal State San Marcos has a rule. If it's been more than 2 years, you do have to start over if you were in your grammar classes. And so let's say you took 2 or 3 years in high school, you are going to have to start over here at Cal State San Marcos.
Okay. So you just want to make sure that I don't fail.
Exactly, because it's been a while and all those things kind of dribble out of our brain. And so you would be asked to know quite specific details in that 2nd or 3rd semester class that you don't have mastery of anymore. There are local community colleges where a very strong student can sign up directly for the 2nd or 3rd semester class. That's their choice, but we always recommend that they have true awareness of their abilities.
Okay. And can I take some foreign language classes at a community college, let's say at Palomar or Miracosta? And will that count to my degree credits?
So you can take classes anywhere in the world, anywhere online, as long as it's a regular university. A lot of students take American Sign Language at Palomar, or they take Italian at Miracosta. The only tricky part is if you're a transfer student, make sure that your transferable credits haven't been maxed out. You can still take the class at Palomar, but the credit won't count, just having met the Loter. Some students still do that. Some students say, well, if there are no credits, I'm not going to waste my time. I'll do it here where the credits will count. It really depends on each person's situation. And I will underscore to everyone that I'm always here for advising. I'm always here to discuss choices.
Okay. And if I'm an international student, should I certify that I speak another language? So what should I do in this case?
Well, if you're an international student who came here as a freshman from a foreign language country, you're all set. You don't have to do anything. If you're an international student who came here as a transfer student, the cheapest and quickest way to show that you're obviously bilingual and biliterate is to come take that proficiency exam.
Okay. And another scenario, I took the AP Spanish at high school. So do I get any credits? Does it meet my Loter requirements?
The AP is awesome. I'm so glad you brought that up because the AP, if you get a score or 3 or higher in language or literature, you get 6 units, they're college credit, you've met your C3, you've met the Loter. A lot of folks use that as a springboard to do a minor or major, particularly in Spanish, but we also have a French and German minor. It's a wonderful program and it's easy, just send your paperwork in.
All right. So is there like a website I can look at if I have more questions instead of making an appointment with an advisor?
Definitely. It's the homepage of the university /Loter. Loter, and you can search it. We're here for you.
Okay. But if I want to make an appointment, where do I go?
The website has all the information about appointments, seeing me, location, and sometimes the website can answer your questions.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.